Welcome to the SkySwitch University webinar series. Hello, this is Jason Jones of SkySwitch. And on behalf of SkySwitch, we want to thank everyone for joining us today, and we hope you find today's topic on the new launch of the Dialplate Operator Console both informative and advantageous to your business. Today's presenter is Corey Stoker, Director of Support for SkySwitch, and also President Eric Hernandez. We also have the pleasure of having, all the way from Italy, Giacomo Falcone of Dialplate to participate via chat in the Q&A session after the webinar. We will go through the webinar in its entirety today and then have a Q&A session at the end. In your control panel, you will see a chat box, so please type your questions in that area during the webinar, and we will address everyone's questions at the end of the webinar. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that super early bird registration for our Vectors Conference in October in Nashville, Tennessee will be ending this Thursday or tomorrow at midnight. So if you wish to save and get an early registration, I would suggest you get in there right away and get her done. Without further ado, I'd like to turn the webinar over to Corey Stoker. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Jason, and hi, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good morning, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us to see what Dialplate is. Very excited to be bringing this to you and show you what we have here. So we'll just go ahead and get started. What is Dialplate? Dialplate is both a receptionist console and a SIP softphone. It's highly configurable. There's a lot you can do with Dialplate that you can't necessarily do with other SIP softphones. It supports multiple audio devices, and it's fully qualified on SkySwitch, meaning it's been fully tested, everything works, and when you deploy Dialplate, you can deploy it comfortably. So Dialplate is available in our store. There's several different options. You would find it under the software tab in the SkySwitch store, and we'll go over the differences in the options here. But it's also available for download. So there's an opportunity to use Dialplate for free. In the free version, you're limited to how many BLFs you can monitor, and also limited to the time on a phone call. So it's really just to download and check out and get a feel for the interface. Inside of the store and inside of any one of the Dialplate operator console versions, you'll find this download button. And so as far as features, you have presence, you have the soft phone. It does support failover too, so it takes advantage of our geo redundancy and will fail over to another node if you're having connectivity issues to one node. So call pickup, call parking, again, call notes, call history, contacts. There's a built-in web browser and supports multiple audio devices. So inside of NDP, if you're configuring one of these devices, in the MAC address, you would actually put the license key of the license that you purchase from the store. The license key will serve as the auto configuration address. So as far as configuration, Dialplate uses the Yalink code structure and will currently accept configuration for the accounts, which is all done automatically, and BLF buttons. So you have the choice of either manually entering your BLF keys or by using the directory designer, and we'll go over some of that here. So let's take a look at the actual app. Now I should mention that Dialplate is Windows only. You may see I'm on a Mac here, but this is a Windows VM. It is actually worth using Windows for. So this is the app itself. I have the BLFs off to the right. This can easily be turned on and off. The window is resizable. It can be maximized, it can be minimized. And your On the screen here, you have some basic functionality to change the headsets, which can be predefined. So you can change back and forth between your headset and speaker and microphone or whatever you have set up. As far as configuration, everything you see on the screen here, except for 2 BLS, were done through auto configuration through NDP. So the account will be set up by itself, and BLS can be added manually. Now you'll notice here I have many more BLS than what's actually showing on the screen. Only manual BLS will show inside of this screen here. And you can import and export CSV to easily add and remove BLFs. But every time I start this up, it'll check the auto configuration file and will provision those keys by themselves. So I'm just going to go ahead and add in Jason here just to show you how easy this is. Sorry, my Mac bar took over. All right, I just pressed the OK button. Anytime there's a configuration change, the app will do a quick restart, and then it will subscribe to that BLF. And this is actually using the SIP subscribe method. So if you're troubleshooting this, you would want to just look in Wireshark. Everything functions just like a normal phone would function. Okay, so we have a lot of options here. The built-in browser, you can have a customized URL for the launch. So you can put in your own website here. And this will be available through auto configuration soon. It's not currently available. It'll just be defaulted to either Google or Dialplate.com. But you'll eventually be able to put in your own website through auto configuration. And when you're deploying this, you can send it out to your customers, give them the license key. They can do the install themselves. It's a very simple install, and it'll be pre-configured and ready to go. So there are a few options here. As I said, this is highly configurable. It's very customizable. There's a lot of things you can do. We have kind of our default setup on what we prefer as far as blind transfer instead of attended transfer, and just some overall, like the alert mode. The alert mode is if the app is sitting in the background and there's action happening on the app can actually blink at you, so you know that something's happening and it needs your attention. There are different themes. The Cupertino theme is something that SkySwitch designed with the help of the Dialplate team. But you can change back and forth between different themes at will. Again, import, export, call pickup is fully supported here. And the audio devices. So on the audio page, you'll see all the different codecs. As I said, there are a lot. There's full Opus support. There's G722, G722.1 support. And you can configure each one of your audio devices here. So you can have a separate microphone and separate speaker for each device to easily switch back and forth between them. Now, ringing, if you're sitting in front of your computer, you may not want to have ringing blasting through your speakers, so you can have this disabled. You can have it go through your speaker. You can have it go through both your speaker and your audio headset. So again, the provisioning server is going to be automatically configured here. So as soon as you hit your license key inside of the app, if the app is provisioned, or if Dialplate is provisioned in NDP, it'll go up and pull the auto configuration. Every time that the app restarts, it'll pull that again, so you can easily make changes via the directory designer or via overrides, and they will take place right away. And I can demonstrate that with the directory designer. I know that everyone here is not a current SkySwitch customer, so you may or may not be familiar with it, but I'm using this Corey's directory to set up my BLF keys here. If I wanted to, let's say, remove Julian and add Blake in here, I can save and close, and then restart my app, and those changes will be there in real time. And there he is. So as far as call notes and some actual features to see some functionality of the app, I'll go ahead and place the call in. So answering the app, you just click on the button and you have the call answered. As far as parking or transferring, I simply select the call, drag it over to where I want to send it, and now I have the call parked. To answer the parked call, I'll just click on park and I have it answered. If I want to transfer it to another extension, that's the same thing. Just drag it over to the other extension and just transfer it over to my test extension there. So very, very simple, very easy to use, and it's something that you can deploy out at a site, and the receptionist who has no familiarity with this app can very quickly pick up and get the idea of how to use this and use it very well. So as far as call pickup, you can see 4614 went yellow here to indicate that it's ringing. If I click on it while it's ringing, then I'll intercept the call and take it over from there. So while I'm on a call, I can click on the directory here and add a contact. Now it's going to automatically fill in the number and the caller ID of any active call. So if I were to add myself to the directory, the next time I call in, it'll use whatever I set in the directory. Okay. And then call notes, which is a very interesting feature that I've only seen available on Dialplate. I haven't seen another app with this functionality, but I can call in and answer a call. Then I can type out notes which may be relevant for the call. And simply, once I finish the call, then I can go back and look into my recent calls, and the note is there. So it's kind of a personal log, but I can use this going back through my entire call history, which your call history is configurable. Right now I'm showing 200 calls, and I'll be able to go back and pull notes for any of those calls. So it's again, a very powerful receptionist tool. So I'm going to pass it on over to Eric Hernais, who's going to show you how to purchase and provision through the store. Eric?
Okay, thanks, Corey. Let's see here. Okay, I think I'm showing my screen.
Yes, we're seeing
Yes.
it just fine.
Okay, great. So just one thing I wanted to touch on, something that Corey mentioned, the configurable URL that will be supported through NDP. Typically, you could use that to put in a customer's CRM system, for example. So you put in their CRM URL, and the CRM would automatically open when into the browser section of the app when the app is launched. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how this works with the store. So you'll notice when you come to the store, there's now a software section, and the software section has the different versions of Dialplate available. And when you click in one, again, you'll notice the download, and you can download and use it without a license key. But if you wanted to purchase a license key, you would just add it to the cart as you normally would any product. Now, what we've done is we've made the Dialplate software configurable the same way that Yealink phones are configurable. So when you go through the checkout process, there's going to be an option that asks you if you want to provision it at the time of checkout. And if you click yes, you're going to be able to select the user and domain from the SkySwitch PBX. And what that looks like is, I'm not going to actually buy another one, but let me go. If you click on your store account option in the store, there's now a software section. Here we see software licenses, and I'm logged in as Jason. And if you click on the software license, it will show you any licenses that you've purchased. And if they have been provisioned, it will show who they were provisioned to. So we see that this particular license was provisioned to extension 1002X, and this particular license was provisioned to extension 171. So if I wanted to take another one, I could just click the provision link. Which I've done, and I'm just waiting for the page to refresh. Okay, and here this is showing all of the domains within this particular reseller account. So I'm going to pick our internal domain. And then I can see all of the different users in that domain. So if I wanted to provision this to anyone within this domain, I would just select them, click provision, and this will now build the device within the PBX. And of course, once the device is built within the PBX, then the NDP will also be populated, and the device will auto provision as soon as it's started. One of the things that Corey mentioned, and I'll just repeat it, is there is an auto provisioning field, and when you download the SkySwitch version of Dialplate, that auto provisioning field is automatically pre-populated with the SkySwitch provisioning server, which is zipconfig.io. So really, once you download it or forward the software to any of your users, as long as it's been placed into the PBX, they should be able to just start it and start using it. So it's really a very seamless process. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to show, and we can take questions now. Jason, would you mind reading the question?
I would not. Thank you very much. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Eric, for all the information you provided this morning. Let's go ahead and get started here. First question here was, will you be sharing the slides, or should I be taking screenshots? No, we will be sending the recording out after the webinar. Expect to get that sometime later today. The next question. I haven't been able to get BLF presence to work with the SkySwitch instruction set and the free version. Would you like to answer that one?
I think if you just want to open a support ticket, we should be able to figure that out pretty quickly. Again, you can run Wireshark directly on your computer to see what's actually happening in the background, and there is app logging, so it should definitely work. And let's just pursue through a support ticket.
Okay, thank you. The next question is about pricing. Is the MRC a one-time cost?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is a one-time cost.
Perfect. Next question. can the window be made smaller than what you have there? I guess he's asking the window you had up, can it be made smaller?
Yes, it is adjustable, and you can have it showing with or without the context, and it's fully resizable. On a 1920 by 1080 screen, it's still going to take up about a little bit more than a quarter of the screen at its smallest size.
Okay. The next question from Jody here is, when installing a Dialplate, does it count as an additional user seat?
It does not. If you already have an extension set up for that user, it adds on just like another phone. So if you're only using Dialplate and it's a brand new extension, of course it'll count as a user seat, but adding it to an additional seat will not incur any additional charges.
Okay. Next question. The built-in browser doesn't work very well with many sites. Lots of compatibility errors. This is coming from Jamie. So would you suggest another support ticket here, Corey?
Yes, and we can work with Giacomo on any particular sites to figure out what the issue is.
If you would open a support ticket with particulars, we can get that worked out. Also, just Giacomo's chatting here, and he wants to mention that any updates are free of charge. So once you purchase the license, you're also entitled to any updates in the application.
Okay. Next question. I also noticed the version available on the website is different than the one Corey is presenting. Is 4.1.9 being released to public or SkySwitch only?
So as of right now, if you were to go into the store, you should be able to download 4.1.9.10, which is the latest version. If that's not the case, it should be, but in any case, we can provide it to you if you're not able to download it, but that should be there now.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Kyle. Is there a planned future update that will allow for changes to take effect without restarting the app?
I don't think so, because the app will only check for updated BLF and configuration upon restart.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question. I have a client that answers calls for about 100 tenants. Can we have a screen pop with company name to answer for and notes on how to answer that call? So probably virtual office multi-tenant application here.
Okay, we'll wait to see if Giacomo wants to offer anything, and we'll come back to that.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Next question. I see an export button. Does it export to CSV?
Yes, you can export your contacts to CSV and re-import them or change them.
Okay, now does that just export? Next question kind of ties into this. Does it export just the configuration information, or does it export recent calls? What exactly? Yeah.
There are several export fields, so you can export recent calls if you're in the call history, or you can export your BLFs if you're in the BLF section. It'll pertain to the screen that you're in.
Corey, how about if I give you back presentation and we can actually show that?
Okay, so right now I'm in the call history. I can export here, and it'll just export in a CSV of my call history. But also, if I'm going into the configuration and wanted to export the CSV of my BLS.
Perfect. And then you're going to bring the CSV? Perfect.
So it's just a very simple CSV, but this would allow you to easily add context, or allow the end user to easily add context for call history. It's all here.
All right, perfect. Okay, thank you, Corey. I'm going to move on to the next question because I want to get moving through this webinar. Here's a very interesting question from the Great White North, Mr. David up there. Can I forward the call note via email or SMS? Ooh, that's a good one.
Not currently. Right now the note is held locally. Now you can export this to a CSV, and you can see my note from earlier is right there. So then you could email it from there, but there's no integration inside the app to sync it elsewhere.
But let me ask one question. Now, do we have Eric's mind swimming?
Well, I mean, if you were to upload this spreadsheet into Google Sheets, of course, then you could have, you know, some automated task that would send an SMS or an email, but that would require getting it into a Google Sheet.
Okay, thank you. Can you use this app for call recording? Can you access call recordings for users who have automatic call recording?
What I think you're asking about local call recording. There is a local call recording that takes place on the app, so you can record your calls and then access them on the computer's local directory. And this would be separate from the SkySwitch call recording.
Okay. Next question, is the touchscreen monitor functionality useful, or do most use a mouse? Notice the touchscreen is apparently not working with Windows 10.
I don't have a touchscreen to test with myself, but I've heard otherwise. We've had one customer who's had success launching this with a touchscreen.
Okay, perfect. Can a license be re-provisioned to another extension at any time?
I'm going to leave this one to Giacomo, and I believe that the license is limited to the one computer.
I think what they're saying is, can they switch users? So I think within the store you should be able to re-provision to another extension. Could you not?
Yes, you can. So you can switch this back and forth in NDP to different users. The license is per computer.
Okay. I just purchased Dialplate from the store, but can't access store licensing section to auto provision. Does that have something to do with the free version versus the paid version?
No. This was just this feature was just launched today. It may not have made it out to every dashboard yet, but it will be there by the end of the day if it's not there currently.
Okay.
And Giacomo just cleared up, if the computer were to fail and you had to reinstall Dialplate on another computer, it can be reactivated through a support ticket.
Also, one other note that Giacomo is reminding us of, you can also put the caller ID into the URL, so you can do a screen pop into that URL. Let's say you had a CRM open in the browser window. You know, if the CRM supports searching by caller ID, then it would automatically load the customer record associated with the caller ID right into that browser.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that application. The next question we have here, what is the call time limit for the free version?
I believe it's 2 minutes.
Okay. Can the
I'm sorry.
reception?
Nope.
Seconds.
No.
30 seconds.
No,
30 seconds.
I'm glad we have the expert here.
Yep, there we go. Next question. Can the receptionist have a phone as well, and can you click to the handset?
I think this question is referring to a feature in the voice operator panel, which is another type of software, another software package that allows you to have a hard desk phone work in tandem with the application, and that's not currently supported in Dialplate. Of course, if you have another phone anyway, you could drag and drop and transfer that call from the interface to that other phone.
Okay, very good. The next question is, can we do attended call transfer and also use the announce feature?
Yes, so there's in the configuration, and I think I'm still showing my screen, so let me launch this back up. In the configuration, you can set up either a blind transfer or queue transfer, which is basically the attended transfer. So if I change this to queue transfer, it'll then allow attended transfers. So the same drag and drop feature will simply call the extension, and then I would have to hit transfer again after speaking to them and confirming to finish the transfer.
And if you have some paging options programmed, could you utilize some of those paging options, i.e. a use case would be I park a call and then do a page that this person has a call parked in this number. Is that possible also?
It's going to depend on how they have paging set up. There is no multicast support right now.
Okay. Next question is, will there be a Mac version available at some point in the future?
My answer to that is I wish, but I don't think that's in the plan right now.
I think, all right. Does Dialplate typically replace a front desk reception phone or complement it as a paired phone such as a 201 or 201A?
It can do either. So it really is powerful enough to replace the desk phone, but it can also complement the desk phone. So it's kind of up to you on where you want to take it.
Perfect. That answered about 3 of the questions that we had in there. Okay. How many Dialplates can be used on one account?
Well, so this is the Dialplate is no different than any other phone. So it's the same as just adding another desk phone to the account. Currently, I believe the limit is 10 per extension.
Got you. But if you wanted to have multiple people utilizing Dialplate, there is no limitation whatsoever.
Well, I mean, the Dialplate, one license will equates to one registration. So
Correct.
When you register, you're only going to be able to register to one user.
Correct. But if I have 3 people acting as reception in an office for backup, each person could have their own Dialplate.
Yes, if they're all the same user, correct.
Fantastic. Okay. How many BLF buttons can be shown on the screen? i.e., could a customer with 100 seats be able to see all phones on the screen?
I'm going to wait for Giacomo. I have the standard version, so I can see all 24 on my screen, but I'm not sure beyond that. Giacomo, do they all show on the same screen, or are there pages once you go beyond that?
Sorry, repeat.
Oh, hey there.
Sorry.
They're asking about how many BLFs can be shown on one screen.
One screen is?
Yes, for example, if we have 1,000 BLFs, how many will show on the first screen?
If you have a lot of BLF, you asking?
Yes.
Yes, no, when you have a lot of BLF, we have more page, and you can change the page. For example, clear this page, clear this configuration page, please.
Hit OK, please.
Corey, on
Okay.
the screen.
Yeah, okay. I can click. Okay, so you have the page that start from. You can number from 703 to page number 1, number 2, and more. And
Corey,
you
Corey, excuse me. Corey, do you want to give Giacomo your mouse
Sure.
control?
Yeah.
yeah, when you have a lot of BLF, you have a multi-page for this. So you have, for example, 10 page. You show 10 button with the page number 1, 2, and 3, and so and 10, and you can switch from this page or sweep the monitor like a smartphone to scroll the page that you have. We can handle up to 2000 BLF.
What's the maximum number you could have on the first page?
Depends on the screen size. Normally, I think 50 or 60 BLF for page. If you have a big monitor, you have a lot of this, up to 100 BLF for page. Depends on the screen size. Automatically, the system arrange in many pages if the screen size is cannot contain all.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Giacomo.
Okay, thank you.
Giacomo, sorry. The next question here, I'm going to try to get through these. If the license is per computer, what if the user gets a new computer? Do they need to repurchase the license?
No, the license would transfer over. There would just need to be a reset done for the license.
Okay. We had another SMS question here, and currently, no, Dialplate is not supporting send and receive SMS messages, but we will be looking into that one. The next question here, how about BLS status, do not disturb, out of office, etc.?
So NetSapiens currently doesn't show if another extension is on DND, but that is coming very soon.
Would that be in version 39?
Version 39.
Yeah. Yes, you can use extension for call each kind of number. So you can use one of these to put the system in do not disturb, for example, or call forward or over this. You can put don't disturb with this, simple. Now we have is ready, but you can put in do not disturb, refuse, redirect. For example, redirect a call to another colleague, another colleague, or start answering machine. Okay.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can put each BLF to work as, for example, you can put one BL, for example, this as PBX special feature. So you put one code that mean do not disturb, for example. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Giacomo, we're going to come back. Excuse me, Giacomo. We're going to come back to this question. I have a client that answers calls for about 100 tenants. Can we have a screen pop with company name to answer for the notes and how to answer the call? Can you have a script in there on how to answer that call?
I don't understand.
I think the answer to this question is that you can do a screen pop, and Dialplate will append the caller ID number. So it's really about having a web application that will take that caller ID number and pop the right script based on that caller ID number. So the software will support it, but you'd still need the web page in the background that will load the right script information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So you for caller ID, this is the page that the system call when a new call is incoming. So in this example, when a new call is incoming, the web browser navigate to google.com.com or your preferred with this query, and the dollars is the caller ID. So, for example, can you try to call now?
Call in.
Okay. When I press this, now open the but the browser is navigating to this URL. Okay, so if you have, for example, a CRM, you can customize this string to open the contact on the web page.
So for some reason, that page, which is google.it, is not showing in my screen. I don't know if it's showing in everybody else's, but basically this is just opening Google and searching for the caller ID number.
Repeat, please.
No, I was just clarifying because on my screen, Giacomo, the Google web page was not showing through the webinar presentation.
No, this is for example, I use Google to just for test. If you can. No, sorry.
I think we're getting in the weeds a little bit here. So let's put it this way: if you would like a configuration and you need some help getting that configured, Eric, would you welcome a SkySwitch reseller open a support ticket asking for a little customization there, and we can kind of help them and walk them through that?
Of course.
All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and take that approach right now. Let's get through a few more of these questions. I think this is a very good question from Thomas down in the great state of Texas. Is there hot desking support?
The hot desking is just going to work through the native NetSapiens hot desking. There's no specific hot desking support built into the application.
Okay.
So to expand on that, it's just like any other phone. So you would use the same star code to hot desk from this phone as you would from any desk phone.
So perfect. So if you had multiple receptionists that needed to cover another one, they could just hot desk in and then cover it right there. But only one be able to use it at a time.
Right.
Correct. Okay. Is there a way to prioritize voice packets through the application?
Giacomo, is there any kind of voice prioritization? I don't believe there is.
Prioritization of traffic.
Yes.
You know, like QoS tagging at the.
QoS, I understand. No, not yet. Not have a prioritization, but we can work about this.
Yeah. Of course, you know, you can always prioritize those packets anywhere on the network, like at the router, or you can tag them anywhere along the line.
Perfect. Just FYI, little kudos here. Looks like Jamie downloaded the SkySwitch version from the store. Presence working fine, and BLF is working just a-okay. So that's good news. Great. Is there a way to automatically open the browser window on an inbound call?
Yeah, yes, you can open the browser in incoming call if you set these. Okay. if you put this automatically, when you press contact button, not open the contact list, but the browser on this search page.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to try that? You want to give another call in?
Yeah.
Corey?
Let's do that.
Yes. So, okay. Okay. So you can use your CRM to handle the caller ID.
Very nice. Perfecto. All right. On linked location domains, can the Dialplate seamlessly transfer between sites? Great question, Edward.
Between sites for different account?
Satellite offices.
Well, this is going to work no different than a regular phone. You can transfer to any BLF key I guess I'm not understanding the question. Corey, does that make any sense?
No, I didn't really understand it either.
Okay. Well, we are wanting to push through to this, so we can come back to that one. Please open a support ticket with a little bit more explanation, and we'll get back to that question. Any plans for an iPad version? Again, I think this is another question about if it's a responsive design, and I believe it is. I believe it does work on an iPad. Right, Giacomo?
No, I don't understand. Sorry, repeat.
No, it only runs on Windows. Is
Gotcha.
It will not run on an iPad. So the question is, what browser are you using inside?
We use Internet Explorer engine.
Which version? Or is there
I don't remember now, but we need to update this. I saw this. I don't remember the version, but it's not the last. So we need to work.
Do you have plans to update it?
Yes, we plan to update. Use the last version of Internet Explorer.
Okay. All right. Very good.
We just have a few more questions, and we're going to be able to just take a couple more because we're running out of time here. But I have 3 sites. All are linked via 1-digit prefix codes. Can Dialplate transfer to any of these extensions at any site? I think we answered this one, but
so basically, if you set them up in the directory, right, this will import the directory and it will become a button. So you could just drag the call to that button and it will transfer the call.
Yes, so you can also transfer clicking here or drag and drop. The directory you can use a local directory or work with LDAP integration if you have a LDAP server. So you can integrate the Dialplate with your LDAP directory.
Very good point, Giacomo. So yes, so you can just create your own buttons if they're not coming from the provisioning server, and then just drag and drop to any button that you create.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Next question: should the park buttons light up to indicate that a call is on that park position?
Yes.
And they do light up, correct?
Yes, they do.
Fantastic. And that's another license question. And okay, can you show that real quick, because we have a little discrepancy here. Can you go ahead and park a call, an inbound call?
Absolutely.
I think it lights up orange or something along those lines, or what I saw.
It'll light up this orangish red color here.
And you drag over to park, and it is red.
Yep.
So it shows. So it will change the color and show that the call is active on that extension. But it will not flash. It will not be a different color.
Yes, it's going to work the same way as like a Yealink or a Polycom.
Yep, standard BLF. Gotcha. All right. Will branding be an option later down the road?
I'll take that. So I'm sure that Giacomo would be happy to entertain any questions about branding directly. Feel free to contact him. We're making this standard brand available, and we've made our we've worked with Dialplate to make sure that it interops with our system very well. But you can go directly to them and have your own brands created, your own white label version.
Fantastic. Great news. And the last question that we have today, how many parks can it handle?
As many as you can provision.
As many as you can provision, to your heart's content.
Each park will just operate as its own BLF. So if you have 30 parks, then you can have 30 park BLFs.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Now, well, of course, each BLF is going to count against the licensing number, so keep that in mind.
Okay, very, very good. Okay, well, that concludes all the questions that we have right now. We're going to go ahead and end the webinar. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up today and participate in the webinar. I'd like to thank Eric and Corey for a great demonstration and a great walkthrough. I'd like to thank Giacomo. Grazie, buona giornata.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. So that concludes the webinar for today. Everybody have a wonderful day. We'll catch you on the next SkySwitch webinar series.